Tripartite Committee on National Minimum Wage holds first meeting after relaxation of strike.
The NEC also approved that, okay, let us also give a window of 7 days, that after 7 days, if nothing is done, we go back again to the trenching.
Senate commits to continued intervention as negotiations on new minimum wage resume.
We will continue to do our best by making contributions and at the same time awaiting the incoming bill for us to enact.
President Bola Tinubu inaugurates another road in FCT, names it after playwright and novelist Wole Soyinka.
And good morning, Nigeria. Today, we shall examine the role of political parties in Nigeria's 25 years of unbroken democracy.
There are arguments that true democracy cannot exist without political parties. Since 1999, the form and character of Nigeria's democracy is largely linked to political parties and the role they play in governance.
Absolutely, Demola, and for the past 25 years, the experience and practice of democracy has embraced political parties, and of course, they are very important channels for nomination and sponsorship of candidates for various elective positions.
True, Claire, but much as the citizens are central to the choices made, analysts infer elections are becoming rather increasingly competitive, with outcomes most times not in favor of the masses but political parties.
There's so many questions that have come up, but more often than not, ideological principles and dividends of democracy are far-fetched, creating a system of what they say is abuse. Today, politics and political parties are seen primarily as business ventures rather than service-oriented, and of course with weak structures. Now, many bemoan the state of party politics, where internal crises within those parties and factionalization have also become the norm.
Well, political watchers are quick to emphasize the need for solid, strong, and formidable political party structures to deepen democracy and promote national interest.
Absolutely, and more so, analysts are of the view that electoral reform, including the adoption of technology and establishment of an electoral offences commission for prosecution of electoral offenders, are very critical.
Well, like we indicated yesterday, on May 29, 2024, Nigeria marked a significant milestone in the country's political journey. It's been 25 years of unbroken democracy, the first of its kind since the Fourth Republic. And today, we take a look at how central political parties have been in the 25 years of Nigeria's democracy. I am Ademola Adeoye.
And we would also look at how they have evolved and, of course, how they have translated, the preferences of majority of Nigerians into political policies. And that's very critical to political parties. I am Claire Adilabo Abdulrazak. Would like to thank you for staying with us all from Monday to now. And, of course, we hope to have you till the end of today's program. And soon enough, Chukwudi Okodigbaja will join us for a review of today's newspapers. But not before, of course, we hear from Olajide Bello the highlights of the morning news. And straight on to Olajide. Jide, good morning, and it's good to see you after the 2-day strike.
Good morning, Claire and Ademola. It's good to be back, and I equally missed you people too. All right, straight to the news. The Tripartite Committee on National Minimum Wage met after organized labor suspended the nationwide industrial action. The pragmatic efforts by the government and workers' union to resolve the dispute have brought relief to some Nigerians who are expressing their gratitude.
We will improve
And whether there's a figure in mind, you will know that at the end of the day.
Let us also give a window of 7 days, that after 7 days, if nothing is done, we go back again to the trenches.
Meanwhile, the Senate has restated commitments towards amicable resolution of the minimum wage issue and commenced labor for suspending the strike. These and other considerations took place at Tuesday's plenary.
I want to thank the Nigerian Labour Congress and the TUC for listening to the voice of Nigerians and the international community, calling out the strike to enable negotiations to continue. And we wish them well in the negotiations. On our part, we will continue to do our best.
The federal government has named a newly inaugurated road after Nigerian playwright and novelist Wole Soyinka for his contributory efforts to the positive image of Nigeria across the world. President Bola Tinubu expressly approved the proposal at the inauguration of the arterial road project within the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja.
It's another testament to the actualization of our developmental agenda to transform every part of this country. Your momentous and recommendation to name this road as Wole Soyinka Way is well received.
Following appeals by stakeholders, INEC has approved the extension of the continuous voter registration from Thursday 6th to Sunday 9th of June 2024 to enable more eligible persons to register in Edo and Ondo states. Similarly, the exercise duration was extended from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily. A statement by INEC National Commissioner for Information, Sam Olumekun, appeals to eligible voters to seize the opportunity of the extension to register, transfer or correct personal information, as there will be no further extension. And that's the news. Good Morning Nigeria continues with Ademola and Claire after this break.
Fellow Nigerians, it is a good thing to be Nigerian. Good news! The Office of the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is organizing the National Fabric Competition, the #One Nigeria Unity Fabric Competition. The aim is to create a fabric design that would be indigenous to Nigeria, showcasing our culture and unity. This competition is looking out for creativity, concept, and the message of unity. Open to Nigerian youths, both male and female, between the ages of 15 and 25 years. And guess what? You can apply wherever you are in the world as long as you are Nigerian. The winner of this competition goes home with a cash prize of 25 million naira. Are you sure I will not apply for this competition? Submission of entries close on Sunday, 30th of June 2024. Submit your entries by sending pictures of your designs via email to unityfabric.ofl24@statehouse.gov.ng, making sure you capture all parts of your designs. Together, let us unite Nigeria!
We're live in the open market for Epic 10X Challenge. My people, today I will show you how the power of new Epic 10X gives your toilet a better cleaning than bleach.
Than bleach?
Yes, so
impossible.
Toilets have stains which bleach cannot clean effectively. But Epic is thicker and sticks better, which gives 10X better cleaning versus bleach and kills germs.
Oh, wow.
You can now see that Epic is better than bleach.
Give me a Risco tomato instead. I go give you imported tomato. Be like saying that people like you, the wicked our country people. You see this Risco, Richiku or Achiko, They take correct natural ingredients, make them. If not made in Nigeria, like a Risco, get many benefits. It help grow our economy. And job plentiful, nyafo. And when you put them inside mouth, it's sweet and it dig the one for.
Buy made in Nigeria. Buy a Risco product.
The new Milo 3-in-1 Milky and Creamy is truly milky and contains calcium. So, no need to add milk for that rich, creamy cup which helps to nourish and energize your kids. Milo 3-in-1 is such a smart choice. Milo, energy to go further.
From Nestle.
The counsel of our fathers.
I will urge and advise our younger generation to use talent and brain to sort out problems, not arms.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation together.
Something new is about to hit your imagination of TV.
A brand new sundial with StarTime's inbuilt technology. New TV innovation with an inbuilt decoder that connects you to both StarTime's antenna and satellite signal. StarTime Sundial TV, you can enjoy over 300 local and international channels, 1 month StarTime's highest bouquet for free, automatic system update. More benefits, more affordable. StarTime Sundial TV is available in all StarTimes branches and dealers countrywide. StarTimes Inside, entertainment inbuilt.
Nigeria means a lot to me.
And Nigeria means peaceful cohesion.
My country.
We continue to pray, and then hopefully we will come to understand that unity of purpose, unity of living together.
Our ethnic beliefs and background and culture is our strength.
Ever since the amalgamation period of 1914 to date, about 109 years ago, the people of Nigeria live very peacefully with one another.
I think diversity helps a lot to enhance robust development in Nigeria.
All over the country, you have so many ethnic groups, over 250. That is enough to tell you that this is a blessed country that, that God has kept, together as one indivisible entity.
Thanks for staying with us. Up next is Newspaper Review.
All right. Of course, you know why I'm smiling. It's also always Chukwudi Okonubaja. Chukwudi, good morning.
Good morning, Claire.
And thank you for making it to the studio.
But don't make me laughing stock. Demola, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
You're welcome.
Good to see you.
Same here.
Yes, honestly, it's good to see Chukwudi. All right. Okay, let's start with Daily Sun. And Daily Sun, again, it's having the issue of the minimum wage occupy its front page. FG to unveil new minimum wage figure in 2 days as Labour suspends strike, and that is on page 6. But of course, just above that story, you find Senate to tighten law against strike, condemns shutdown of national grid and disruption of Hajj flight. Now, vandalism, FG to deploy security operatives to second Niger bridge. It's on page 25. And again, editors flay spate of journalists' abduction by security agencies. The story is on page 27. And then, of course, what is happening in Abuja cannot and will not escape. Is it the biro, the pen, the camera lenses of journalists? And the Daily Sun has also captured what has been happening at the FCT within the past few days. And the next commissioning that will happen is the inner Southern Expressway from the outer Southern Expressway, and that will happen today. That's what the picture on the front page of the Daily Sun is depicting, and is showing us that the President, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, may, of course, be commissioning that project. Let me quickly move away from that and then take up New Telegraph newspaper. It also is focusing on the labor strike and says that Nigeria has lost 3 trillion naira in the first day of the action, and that's saying OPS. Of course, it comes with some riders there. Warns key economic sectors will experience instability as Labour relaxes nationwide strike for 1 week, and Senate berates Labour for national grid shutdown, hard flight disruption, plans legislation to stop recurrence. And okay, there are also other stories. Now, former President Goodluck Jonathan is saying, of course, on the picture story there occupying the front page, with Delta State Governor inaugurating the State High Court complex. And, of course, you have other distinguished members both from the National Assembly and the Judiciary. Just below that, Tinubu to Finance Minister, work out minimum wage cost implications, urges panel to come up with new sustainable wage award. And insecurity, bandits kidnap 30 villagers in Niger, 50 farmlands, cattle destroyed in Plateau, Kaduna, airstrikes killed scores of terrorists, destroyed camps in Kaduna and Katsina. That's coming from NAF. And there are other stories I'll quickly take before Demola comes in. Police Service Commission, again, Police Service Commission okays 10,000 applicants for recruitment. Police Service Commission okays 10,000 applicants for recruitment. And there'll be 1 hour power shutdown at MMIA today, and this is coming from FAN. There'll be 1 hour power shutdown at MMIA today. That's Murtala Mohammed International Airport today, according to FAN. It's on page 5. Now, Gobo polls, INEC extends voter registration in Edo and Ondo states, registers 120,458 in 8 days. And Works Minister condemns second Niger bridge vandalism, comments whistleblower. Okay, hot airlines lost 50% of trapped funds to currency devaluation, blah, blah, blah. And there is also the story on Heritage Bank. Let me quickly stop and allow Demola to take the next review. I'm sure you're watching me.
I'm just watching you. All right, I have the Nigerian Pilot newspaper with me, and just below the nameplate, we have Nigeria's productivity level can't support 400,000 minimum wage. Mongalu. The details can be found on page 11. Labour calls off nationwide strike as stakeholders count losses. Details on page 4. And the major headline is Beware of WHO. African leaders want to be careful of WHO's GMO conspiracy. They cannot afford to trust WHO anymore because she eradicated malaria in the UK, US, but not in Africa. WHO's policy on cervical cancer, wrong, and African health ministers compromised. Varsity Don says WHO, that has done many good things for Africa, is also doing some very bad things. The details is on page 4. Tinubu gives Edo 48 hours to get realistic position on minimum wage. Details of that story is on page 5. And we have INEC extends continuous voter registration in Edo and Ondo states. Olowo Makama receives, Obasanjo describes him as timeless statesman. The details on page 7. Governor Eno probes local government projects in Akwa Ibom State. Page 12. NAF bombed terrorist camps in Kaduna, Katsina State. Details on page 9. And Edo Labour Party lifts suspension on 308 members. Details of that story, it's on page 9. And lastly, 1 confirmed dead, 30 others still trapped in collapse Niger mining pit. The details of that story, it's on page 6. There's something actually caught my attention, the entertainment page. Maybe we'll react to that later, where Ellen Paul is saying that women's salary should be paid into their husbands' accounts. Claire, women's salary should be paid into their husband's accounts.
That's her opinion. And she's entitled to her opinion.
What's your opinion?
No, I don't have an opinion.
I know families that have joint accounts.
Yeah.
I've not been able to practice it.
Okay.
But that's not to. I have to praise families that have got to the stage where the two of them can actually operate one account.
I think it's understanding that.
Yes,
actually.
it's a level of understanding. I had to make a confession. Trust
and understanding.
I feel though that I would never, mismanage my relationship with my wife and all that. But for people to get to that level, let's commend them, please.
No, the issue of money is actually very, very...
The issue of what?
Tough one. The issue of money is really a tough one.
It is a tough one, my dear.
You know, when the big books, the scriptures, refer to money as the root of all evil.
No. It didn't say the money is the root of... It's the love of money. So don't get it to your head.
Money
is still...
the love of money, not money is the root of all evil.
Who does not love money? Between the man and the woman, who does not love money?
They didn't say love of oxygen. Money.
He said the love of money.
Now money.
He didn't say money is the root of all evil.
Let's not quibble over this.
No. It's a very important...
It's important.
Yes, and again, the feminists will tell you that probably will be, robbing femininity, robbing the woman of some, right to independence. That's what the feminists will tell you. And they would also,
this argument will take up time for NLC and editors flaying the rising spate of abduction of journalists.
But according to data, we've had more problems coming from joint accounts between husband and wife than those who.
But let's praise them for thinking about it at all.
Anyway.
Okay. Quickly, the President Abed Bola Tinubu is giving the finance minister a due just today
48 hours
to forward the costs that are traceable to the demand for a minimum wage. That I said just yesterday that NLC and the TUC, they feel better when they think that the president has been dragged into it. It has happened. I think a resolution is in sight.
Yeah, it is.
The 5 days should not be abused by any of the two sides. Opinion? Nobody's going. Anybody that gives anybody 200,000 naira minimum wage is asking for inflation nobody can control. Let me stop there. I'm not going to go over or under. Let me stop there so that we don't. We stave off controversy.
Yes. And
then
the issue of Chukwudi, the issue of the second Niger bridge is very important. I saw that video. I just didn't think it was...
Abduction of journalists, forget that. Go on
the
quickly.
second Niger bridge. I mean, we know how long it took, the government
to complete it,
to fulfill that promise. And then for someone, or group of people, or group of vandals to go there to vandalize the rails. I can't fathom it.
First of all, morals have died virtually in this country. Secondly, see something, say something is not working. So if you ask me, there's culpability, general culpability in all of these. People know those who are responsible for this. Then, on the side of people who should monitor, since you know how we are, that we are no longer people that can be trusted easily, in spite of the fact that the mosques and the churches are even getting fuller and fuller, you must be vigilant about very, very sensitive infrastructure.
I think people
have to.
I think people of the Southeast should rise up against this, because it's part of the agitation, from that end, that, dividends of democracy, you understand, is very marginal. And then when you have this, very big projects, cited there, completed there, just to eat. I'm sure, Demola, you haven't experienced the
price of iron now steel is something else.
Exactly.
I don't know if they have a surveillance camera around those areas. Maybe it will help. Because
these things are not as difficult as you think.
Yeah.
The will doesn't seem to be there. people do not attach importance to things that are very important in our country from time to time, and that's not good for us. Surveillance cameras to monitor that breed, they are not as expensive as you think.
I think the Minister of Work should do much more than, commend the whistleblower or even ask people to report. Like you said, morals have been blown to the wind.
We are in trouble.
There should be more.
Even as we get more and more religious.
Yes.
Quickly.
Yes, the journalist.
Yes, please. I talked to somebody after the first news case, a very big, supervisor of a journalistic arrangement somewhere. And he told me that eventually they found out First News blundered in some ways. Let me stop there so we don't begin to judge them on the air without hearing from their side. But the result to abduction of journalists, where does it take us? Are we going back to the military era? We're even getting worse in that direction. Where is the rule of law? Are you saying that the judiciary is no longer competent and being one that can be trusted enough to help you when you have a case of hurt arising from a publication? Those are the questions I want to pose. We must stop where we are going now. It's not good for us. It's not terrorists abducting them. It's not insurgents. It's not bandits.
The law enforcement agency.
For crying out loud. We must stop this. And I'm not saying it because we're journalists. Self-help is not something that promotes rule of law. Take them to court if they have done anything that you should seek redress about. That's my little opinion on the matter.
Because if they are, engaged in things like abduction and all that, how would you be able to correct, the populace when they also resort to jungle justice, which we see all around us? So they should just be careful.
Exactly. Exactly. If Caesar's wife would not stay above board, why would you expect the...
Okay. So just before we end, I know that a lot of people applauded the, naming of the Abuja Atero Road after Wole Soyinka for his, literary contributions. And I mean, who can say no to that? No.
He's a star to me anytime. He talked to Jonathan Mann of CNN during the Abacha days. So Jonathan asked him, Professor Soyinka, how do you characterize life in your country? Nigeria can be likened to a maiden that is being systematically gang raped. One general finishes with her and passes her on to another general. I never forgot those lines.
You always say it. You always say it.
Forget it.
And I know.
When that might die, they shouldn't bury him with his brain. They should take it and give it to somebody.
I give it to
but may he live long.
Honestly, I think he's 90. He's 90, and unfortunately,
oh my God,
people want to say goodbye. A lot of our children today are not reading, some of the works of these literary giants. I mean, in those days, we read so many of his books, and there
is need for us to promote this culture, this reading culture again in schools.
Yes,
because
it's dying.
Not just for
and
the
reading,
messages they depict.
Reading broadens
English,
you.
The grammar.
Reading helps you write, improve your writing.
All right,
okay, Chooks, thank you for coming again.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you tomorrow again.
Always a happy thing.
All right, so we take a break now. Good Morning Nigeria continues. Stay with us.
A good farmer is a craftsman of the highest order. It is said, great farmer, great nation. No farmer, no nation. Yes, let's set the ball rolling to build that great Nigeria where good food is in abundance, affordable and easily accessible. The Renewed Hope Initiative, RHI, an initiative of the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, CON, is aligning with the vision and aspiration of the administration of President Bola Tinubu, GCFR, and is organizing the Every Home a Garden competition. The competition is under the scope of agriculture of the Renewed Hope Initiative. For the competition, women are encouraged to immediately plant a garden at home, such that the harvest can provide adequate food on their table and enough to give their neighbor. This competition is open to only women. She must be a first-time farmer. The garden must be in her home, and it is open to women in every state of the Federation and the FCT. Interested participants should do a 30 seconds video and a picture of the garden which indicates its location to the office of the First Lady ladies of their various states. The winner of this competition will be announced in December 2024, and the winner of the competition goes home with 20 million naira. Women, join the train. Be part of the food revolution in Nigeria. What are you waiting for? Let's get to work. This message is by the Renewed Hope Initiative, RHI, an initiative of the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, CON.
The new Milo 3-in-1 Milky and Creamy is truly milky and contains calcium. So, no need to add milk for that rich, creamy cup, which helps to nourish and energize your kids. Milo 3-in-1 is such a smart choice. Milo, energy to go further.
From Nestle.
We are live in the open market for Epic 10X Challenge. My people, today I will show you how the power of new Epic 10X gives your toilet a better cleaning than bleach.
Than bleach?
Yes, so
Impossible.
toilets have stains which bleach cannot clean effectively. But Epic is thicker and sticks better, which gives 10X better cleaning versus bleach and kills germs.
Oh, wow.
You can now see that Epic is better than bleach.
The lights are on and the stage is set for dreams to take flight. Who will be the next idol? Watch Nigerian Idol live performances every Sunday at 7 p.m. and you get to decide by voting for your favorite contestant. You can vote via website, mobile site, or by using the My DSTV or My GoTV app with no stress. To vote via website or mobile site, simply visit africamagic.tv/Nigerian Idol. Click on vote, register, and then enter your details and a password of your choice. It's easy and it's free. You can also get AWOOF votes for your favorite Nigerian Idol contestants. All you have to do is download the My DSTV or My GoTV app and you have more voting power at your fingertips. Visit the website for more information. Voting opens on Sundays after the live shows and closes every Thursday at 8 p.m. Remember, vote for your favorites each week and you get to decide this year's Nigerian Idol.
Nigerian Idol Season 9 is proudly sponsored by Techno, Stop at Nothing, and Biggie for every moment.
And I'm wishing you and your entire family a very, very Merry Christmas! You know, I really think that you're very cute.
She was really pretty.
Yeah.
So she was obvious of that she was just
she was feeling.
You know.
Feeling what's up. And I also think that you can bring some level of balance and structure into Ebuka's life.
Wow.
My darling, as he's seeing you, he's seeing a work of art.
Oh, yeah.
He has graphically. Don't mind me, please. Are you married?
I'm single.
You are single? Ebuka! Can we name the best thing about Christmas holiday?
Love.
Love! My favorite Christmas carol is Dash.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Love it! I love it!
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Good. That's it.
Deck the halls with balls of holly. Fa la 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 la. This the season to be jolly. La 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 la.
Name a gift parents would most likely give to their children for Christmas.
Food.
Shoes. Money.
Christmas decoration.
Knockout.
Vacation.
A vacation. A vacation. Toby.
Village.
All right, survey says.
All right, all is set for our conversation on 25 years of Nigeria's unbroken democracy. And today we're looking at the evolution of political parties and the role that they have played in all of this. But first, let's take this background report, and it's put together by our correspondent, Ibrahim and Amidu.
Since Nigeria gained independence in 1960, political parties have played a crucial role in shaping the country's political landscape. The first political parties emerged in the 1950s, with the Nigerian People's Congress and the Action Group being two of the earliest. These parties were largely regional and ethnic-based, setting the tone for future political divisions. In the 1970s and 1980s, new parties emerged, including the National Party of Nigeria and the Unity Party of Nigeria. These political parties were more ideology-driven, with the NPN leaning towards socialism and the UPN towards capitalism. In 1989, Nigeria's military head of state, General Ibrahim Babangida, also a skilled politician, lifted the ban on political activity, which had been in place since the 1983 coup. This led to the establishment of two political parties, National Republican Convention, NRC, and the Social Democratic Party, SDP. The 1990s saw the rise of democratic movements, leading to the establishment of parties like the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and the All People's Party, APP. The PDP has been the dominant party since 1999, with the All Progressives Congress, APC, emerging as a strong opposition in 2013, formed from a merger of Nigeria's three largest opposition parties and clinching power in 2015. Throughout Nigeria's political history, parties played a significant role in shaping policy, electing leaders, and representing diverse interests. However, they have also faced challenges such as internal conflicts, corruption, and ethnic divisions. Despite these challenges, political parties continue to evolve, with new parties emerging and old ones reforming. As democracy continues to grow, guests on Good Morning Nigeria will appraise Nigeria's unbroken democracy for 25 years and the role of political parties as they remain crucial in shaping the country's future.
Thank you, Ibrahim Dan Hamido, for that background report. And to discuss more on our topic for today, we have in the studio our guests. They are already seated. First is Honorable Isiaka. He's a member, House of Representatives, Yewa North, Imeko Afon Federal Constituency. He's also the Chairman, House Committee on Student Loans, Scholarship, and Higher Education Financing. Honorable, you are welcome to Good Morning Nigeria.
Thank you very much, and good morning, viewers at home.
All right. Also joining us for the discussion is Architect Waziri Bolama. He's the former National Secretary, APC. Thanks for coming on the program.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Okay.
All right. We also have High Chief Peter Ame, former IPAC National Chairman and former National Chairman of the PPA and former presidential candidate, and we are all very happy to have you with us.
Thank you. Good morning, Nigerians.
From our Cardinal studio, we have Honorable Felix Hassan Hyatt, PDP Chairman, Kaduna State and Chairman Forum of PDP State Chairman of Nigeria. He was also former Minister of State Aviation. It's a very big pleasure to have you with us, Honorable Felix Hassan Hyatt.
Good morning, fellow Nigerians.
All right. Thank you, thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. So let's begin our conversation. Oh.
Okay, we still have one more person. Sorry about that. Professor Kabir Mato, political scientist, joins us via Zoom. Professor Mato, it's been a while we had you on Good Morning Nigeria. Where have you been?
Yeah, how are you? Good morning. Good morning, Nigerians.
All right, go on that.
Okay, let's stay with Professor Matos. Professor Mato, can you just, give us your thoughts on the role that the political parties have played, contributed to the development of Nigeria's democracy in the last 25 years? Let's have your thought on that.
Well, thank you very much. Once again, good morning, Nigeria. I think the Nigerian political parties have played to a large extent a very important role in the evolution of the political system since the last 25 years. Yes, it is not easy. Political parties are not, mere associations that just, spring up from the society with a view of political power and control of governments. Political parties, I think, play a much more serious role than that. In the Nigerian case, in the last 25 years, we have seen the parties transmuting, from one association to the other, political party, the alliances, and coming together for the simple purpose of wanting to capture political power. I will say that in the last 25 years, the evolution of the Nigerian political party system has been more or less steady, and I don't expect that it is over yet because the alliances and perhaps the history of the evolution of the political party system itself since 1999 has been replete with a lot of crises, a lot of issues. In 1999, for instance, the political class did not believe in the sincerity of the military administration to hand over power to, the civil political group. So that led to strange bedfellows falling over one another, and then you had the five political parties, PDP, APP, AD, and the rest of them registered. Subsequently, again, the evolution of the political party system was further strengthened by the Nigerian judiciary when the Supreme Court ruled that, INEC did not and does not have the powers to determine the number of political parties. Yes, that amounted to, according to the Supreme Court, infringement on the fundamental human rights of Nigerians to freely associate. So the field was more or less liberalized. And what you see, therefore, was the evolution of more political parties have dominant positions. And one of the beautiful things clear that we need to see is that you can see that despite the number of political parties that exist, you'll find that in every election, the preponderance of 2, 3, or 4 will always be there, while the rest will merely be associating and aligning with the other major political parties. That's what you have under, a plural, multiple political party system, which to a very great extent has helped, in shifting alliances. And I think one of the major undoing of the political party system so far has been the instability in the part of the Nigerian political class who desperately desire to access political office.
Okay, thank you, Professor Mato there. We apologize for cutting you because your audio is not stable. I guess it's as a result of the network. But thanks for laying the foundation for our discussion this morning. So let's come back to the studio and let's have Honorable Igboyega Isiaka to give us your own thought on the role that the political parties have played in the development of democracy in the past 25 years. Let's have your thought on it.
Well, thank you very much. I think I will take it up from where Prof stopped. I mean, definitely the parties have played very significant role in the evolution of, the democratic dispensation that we have. I will look at it more from the angle of grassroots mobilization. We have, 774 local governments, and thousands of wards that we have. Today, if I want to pass information, the dissemination of information, learning, teaching, and all of that of political tenets. I think political parties have also tried a lot to do that. You have meetings at ward level, you have meetings at unit level, even micro units, level all over the country, the entire nation. And I think that is a very good source of passing information. In all of these that we are talking about, I think the most important thing is that no matter what we try to do, we hope to be able to carry along the entire 220-something million people that we have in the nation, so that they can be part of the process. We are running a government that is for the people and by the people, and therefore, the more people you have that have belief, in what we are trying to do, the better. And I think the political parties have played a very significant role in trying to get this this done. And of course, recruitment of candidates for elections. And of course, the recruitment of now, party political office holders is also done through the parties. We do not have independent candidates yet in our constitution, so we still have to go through the parties. So it is still these parties, that you have to go and join from your ward, and then no matter whatever you want to become, you want to run for. It is still through these parties that you are going to do it. So I think political parties have also done quite a lot there. Oh, of course, it could have been better. 25 years is not is still significant. We probably could say I've heard them do more within this time frame. But I think that in terms of mobilization from the grassroots, in terms of recruitment of of candidates and political office holders, and in terms of discipline, to some extent, once we fall out of line with the tenets of democracy, or as per the constitution or per the law of that political parties, it is still the parties that will get into that and make sure that you are beaten back to line. So I think in these areas, the parties have played some role to take us to where we are today as a nation in our democracy.
Honorable Boyega Isiaka, thank you for the points that you have raised, especially for touching on grassroots mobilization as a factor of change, democratic change that has been brought to bear in our political process. But let me again bring in former IPAC National Chairman, High Chief Peter Ame, to the conversation. And I'd like you to, for us, let's lay the background of evolution from the days of the the National Democratic, the days of Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, yes, NCNC, and all that. Yes, exactly. If we can look at the evolution of those political parties down to a present democratic dispensation, so that we know how democracy has really impacted on that evolution, both in spirit and in the letters of political parties.
Thank you very much. With the letters and spirit of not just political party, of the constitution, that give power to formation of political party when you go to section 223 to section 229 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The intention was for people to have a place to participate, canvass their views, talk to citizens about policies and programs, and then present their manifesto, then get elected. If you look at the First Republic, political party played a major role, and they were really involved in the party managers were really involved in how to manage the political process. Then if you come to Second Republic, that was truncated under Shagari, and then you come to the also aborted Third Republic of the Abiola era, 1993. And then we're in the current Fourth Republic, and you see that yes, the Nigerian citizens have accepted, to stay with democracy, no matter how badly it has performed in the last 25 years. But if you look at party formation from that time, what has really affected the growth and development of political parties are very few things, and it is the attitude of those who have been elected into office, and the attitude for them, they are non-performing attitude of looking at the people as supreme, that the people matters in the scheme of everything that they do. And then you look at the way they have manipulated the process in the way that during elections, they see it as a do or die affair. They become like voting scavengers, that no matter what you do, they want to lord themselves over the, those who are going to the ballot. Our electoral process has actually improved, because by 2003, there was ballot box stuffing, there was ballot box snatching, there was every kind of thing. By 2007, the same thing happened. By 2011, it was subdued. But when we introduced technology into our electoral process in 2015, you saw that all those negative voices, those dived. And then in 2023, you also saw the improvement of technology. But whatever happens, let's not go into that today. But I'm trying to talk about what has affected the fabric and strength of the political party to remain as a major vehicle, because political parties are the only major critical stakeholder in our electoral process. Because like he said, like Honorable said, there are no independent candidacy. So you must, vie for position in this country through the political party, that has been established and approved by the Independent National Electoral Commission. And the political party has to do with inclusivity, allowing more people to diverse kind of persons from all walks of life, no discrimination, to participate in the process. But the defection, that law that makes those who have been elected to defect from political are weakening the fabric of our political parties. They are weakening the strength of political parties. Because I see no reason why a man will canvass his views on the policies and programs of a particular party and then get to the house or get to government house and then defect. What are you telling people? It shows some level of insincerity. And you now look at the failure of the local government system, because we have 774 local government, like he has said in Nigeria. We have over 8,000 councillors, which is like the ward, over 8,000 ward, that are supposed to be responsible to bring government closer to the people. Those who have been elected since 1999 in a democratic process have killed that process, because they are not elected, because the Constitution says specifically that they shall be elected, democratically elected local government chairmen and councillors in the state of the federation. But today, as you see, what you see is caretaker committee. Despite several Supreme Court judgments between Abia State and 350 others in 2002, between what they call Ekiti State and 2 others in 2011 also. So this 2007. So you look at how these governors who have come into power through democratic means, let's say quote and unquote, that are now decided to emasculate the local government system, and that weakens the political parties, because political parties must have more space to be able to contest for election. If you restrict the space where political parties have to contest, like when you contest local government election in another of the state, those states in power in that state win 100%. It's not done anywhere in the world. So that has affected the development and progress of political parties.
Yes, I thought you would have also looked at it from the angle of regionalism. In those days, in the early 20th century, when you had the NNDP and the NCNC and the NYM, those were all regional, regional parties. Even the number of the parties today, has changed. Parties are no longer regional. I mean, you have LP, for instance, having branches all over. You have the PDP.
In fact, for you to form a political party, there's a criteria for you to form a political party. In that section that I mentioned, you first become an association. You apply to Independent Electoral Commission. Even previously in the regional government, political parties were not formed at the regional level. They still come to the commission at the federal level, whether led by Akpata or Humphrey, to come and still register as political party. So every political system is designed by those who operate it, like the Nigerian current presidential system. You have to go to INEC, apply to be registered a political party. Well, one of the criteria is that you will have offices in 2/3 of the state of the federation, and your national headquarters must be in Abuja, and your national executive must have a spread across Nigeria. So these are criteria for registration of political party. Why the Supreme Court gave judgment when Fayemi and Balarabe Musa fought for it is because of inclusivity. Because you can't restrict people's right to participation. You can't restrict people's right to belong to a political party, as stated in Constitution that they shall have the right to belong to a trade union, an association, or a political party, that their right and interest is protected. So these are the major cardinal objective of those who brought democracy, to be able to run, so that people will have a voice and have a say. So, but in this climb, our democracy have suffered a lot in the hands of the players, those who have been elected through whether perceived democratic means that were forcefully, if you go to elections in local communities, I contested for House of Rep in my community, you could see people blazingly threatening people's life to be able to get to office. Going around making sure that forcefully they get the people out of their way to get to office.
Hopefully we'll get to look at the obstacles. Yes. I think.
Okay. Let's bring in Architect Bulama. Let's have your own view too on the evolution of democracy and the role of political parties. Let's have your thoughts as well.
Yeah, building on the thoughts of all these leaders, beginning with Professor Mato, there is a consensus within the country in this Fourth Republic, a commitment to democracy. And it is within this overall commitment that we were able to reached this point, this silver jubilee, of 25 years. And because the Constitution, as mentioned by Honorable Ami, does not allow for independent candidature or, politicking outside, a political party. So the key players within the political system are essentially the political parties. And the political parties, of course, are not just mere associations, but they are people of like minds who have come together to pursue a common goal in terms of, governance and change in the country. And the political parties remain, as leadership recruitment center. They generate, the ideas and the manifesto to govern the country. And leaders also, who are elected on the basis, on the platform of these political parties who go into governance, swear to an oath of office and oath of allegiance. First, to govern the country in line with the Constitution. And the second responsibility of leaders is to implement the Nigerian Constitution, which in fact, essentially is about deepening democracy and the institutions of state. As an APC, man that came into being in 2013, the APC observed the leaders of the legacy parties that formed the APC, because it's very significant for me to state this, because there is a major contribution that is associated, with the formation of the APC. The legacy parties, were all parties that had limitations in terms of national spread and operations, even though they were all registered as national parties, under the Constitution and by INEC. But in terms of operation and and spread, they had limitations, and this also plays a great deal of a great deal on their capacity to impact on national politics. So these leaders of these legacy parties decided to diffuse this, identity tagged, politics they were doing, to found a broad-based national, ideological party in 2013. That was a great, sacrifice. And they also, the other thing that the leaders thought of was to do away with many bad practices associated with our early years in democratic practices. A great deal of violence, assassinations, culture of impunity, and so on. And these were all, the APC came to address those issues. And luckily, you see, for us, Nigerians welcome us very well. Would often announce, elected us into power in 2015. And you see, from 2015 till now, the culture of democracy, the culture of accountability and transparency has greatly been deepened and promoted. Okay. Democratic culture has become stronger. Elections have continued to improve. Accountability and transparency in the way, and way things are done and managed in the country has improved. The quality of democratic party, the confidence, of voters, the confidence of Nigerians has increased. For instance, 94 million Nigerians registered to vote in the last elections, which showed, that Nigerians are happy with the democratic system.
Bulama, I don't know about this last statement, whether Nigerians are happy with the system, but Nigerians are indeed happy with democracy.
Yes,
yes, with democracy.
Yes.
And the other issues that you have also raised about, what has happened in the past 25 years. Yes, indeed, a lot has happened, between, when between the old era and this democratic dispensation. There's been a lot.
Yes.
We've talked about the national spread, of the now political parties. We've also talked about grass mobilization. I don't know really, because High Chief Ahmed talked about manipulation and intimidation at the grassroots. So I don't know to what extent grass mobilization is happening now. But let's go to Kaduna, and we have Honorable Felix Hassan Hayat, who, of course, is PDP Chairman, Kaduna State, and Chairman Forum of PDP State Chairman of Nigeria. Honorable Felix, again, if we look at the interpretation of the concept of political parties by, those political analysts and political students, they say that political a political party is probably a structured, platform with a body of men and women united in their programs and policies, and united also in the method of implementing or activating those programs and policies. And in terms of function, that political parties are responsible for translating the preferences of the majority of the people. And I'm asking, in the past 25 years, with the evolution of our political parties, do we see these strands? Do we see these strands of identity in our political parties?
That question is very, very important. But let me say that we should also be looking at the concept, and from the beginning, how did the political parties come about? We took up from a military regime that had the culture of ruling or setting up political parties by decrees, and had the authority at that time to either ban politicians and ban people of like minds, and at the same time decide to cancel whatever decision they have taken in terms of votes. And it reached a stage whereby these decrees became something that politicians were rushing to go and belong to the military concept of democracy, which was completely at variance with the real democracy of freedom of people coming together. So if we look at it from that as an evolution, we look at it from that, we realize that the political parties have played a very, very important role in bringing people together. And we agree, I subscribe to it, that the participation of the people, especially at the grassroots level, has increased tremendously, and that the political parties are more national now in outlook. As to whether we have achieved the aims of these people coming together in order to form a political party and deliver on their promises, that is where the situation has become a different thing altogether. And why has it become something of that nature? It's because people are not looking at political parties as something that belongs to the general public. They are looking at political parties as parties that belong to only the politicians. And if you look at it from that angle, then once a political party wins an election, people only rush to it that they want to participate in government. The people are not monitoring what really brought them about. What did they tell the people? How far have they gone in delivering on what they promised? And I believe that the role of the members of the public to show more interest in the activity of the political parties for us to achieve the aims is still below expectation. And I look at the issues of the civil society groups that are very, very important. They are key in mobilizing people. Take example, you go to the House of Assembly today, there are nobody goes to the House of Assembly to monitor what their representatives are discussing, whether they are discussing things based on the interest of their constituents or not. Nobody cares about it. So, and also the media needs to put its eyes more on the performances of political parties and what they are doing in order to move the country democratically forward. But I must say that listening to my colleagues, what they have said, certainly we are moving, and it's not something that we will achieve in one day. But we should not also give up. We need to re-strategize, and alliances are important. But let the alliances not be alliances only to capture power and remain in government. Alliances should be based on a broad need of Nigerians and how such needs can be actualized.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Hassan, for your contribution there. He has raised a lot of issues. Let's come back to the studio now. Honorable Isiaka, some of the issues he raised is the issue of accountability and responsibility to the people that actually elected them. Most of the political parties are not accountable, and people do not even have access to them. And most times there is this issue of abuse of power and many internal issues in the political party. There seems to be no checks and balances, even within the party itself. So do you think the multiple political parties have been that participatory, and how have they been able to check the excesses of their members?
Well, thank you very much. The only thing, the summary of what I would say there is that over the years we have been improving in this, but definitely there's still a long way to go. The issue of accountability to the people, the issue of being responsible to the people, and some of those things are quite true. And those are the areas that I think that we need to begin to focus attention to, so that this whole thing can be as participatory as we want it to be. In some of the political parties, when it comes to, for example, choice of candidates to go and represent the party in a particular election, different kind of methods are used. They have the indirect, where to go through the delegates. The people at the grassroots are supposed to pick the delegates, and then they will now go and do an electoral college and pick a candidate out of it. Some will go direct, to the grassroots and let everybody, appoint who they want. But in any of these, it is still greatly influenced by the leadership. It is still more often than not. I dare say that in more than 80-90% of the case, it is still who the leadership wants, that will still emerge. I mean, through one means or the other. There are different different kind of manipulation, either influencing, the thoughts and the choice of the people, or even directly say that this is what they wanted. I think those are the areas that definitely the parties have not done enough in order to engender confidence in the people. And I think that we should also look at our level of education and literacy. At the end of the day, even if you are doing one man, one vote, what we are saying is that the vote of any of us sitting down here is equal to the vote of the man down there in my village who doesn't even know what is happening. And at the end of the day, that man can easily be manipulated. He probably doesn't even know who he's voting for. Imagine you want to do a presidential primary, for example, and the candidate is let's say from Kwara State, another one is probably from Borno State, and then you want to take those names to down, that what does the man there know about it? So those are all some of the things that we need to do. I think that sincerely speaking, our democracy have evolved. A lot of things are coming in. We are testing different parts of the constitutions every now and then. But in terms of being sincere with the grassroots, being sincere with ourselves, we be sincere with the people, by the people that have influence on the process. I think we need to get a lot more serious about that. I think we need to give people a lot more involvement in some of these things, and the people themselves must also ask questions. One of I think the prof, the man that spoke about how many people, for instance, after you have elected your assembly, how many people cares to know how the assemblyman, either at the state or at the national assembly, vote in reference to a particular decision that is being taken. Okay, we just had national anthem. Did you ask your member, how did you vote when that national anthem, and why did you vote like that? Did you ask us about it? So those are some of the things that I think we still need to look at. So my conclusion to that is that yes, we have evolved, but we still need quite a lot of sincerity on the part of our leadership, because as we are today in this country, in this country, and the evolution of our political system, the leadership of the political parties still have quite significant influence on what happens in terms of decisions that needs to be taken.
All right, Honorable Isaka, thank you. Let's bring Professor Mato again into the conversation before we return to the studio. Professor Mato, thank you once again for joining us. And I'd like us to again look at the evolution of our political parties from the multi-party system in other climes where democracy and the democratic process is considered matured and developed. Multi-party system is really, not practiced. I mean, you find, the parties streamlined and all that. But since 1999, I know that PDP, ruled the political space of Nigeria for 16 years. And then you had other parties like the ANPP and so on and so forth. But from 2015, we've seen plethora of political parties. Some of them we don't know. I can't even remember their names. So, what are your thoughts about this evolution, into a multiplicity of political parties in Nigeria?
Very much. Let us first look at the evolution of the current Nigerian political party system. One of the victims of military rule in Nigeria from 1966 until 1999 has been the institution of political party system. The military, anytime they struck and they were prepared to hand over power to the civilian group, one major condition that they gave was that any political party that would be formed must not have any resemblance with the political parties of the past. That happened in 1978. During the Babangida transition program and so on and so forth. What that does to the history of political party is that it diminishes and denies, that political party solidarity that you see in serious, in more plural societies, as the case is in Pakistan, in India, and so on and so on. So that, trajectory of the growth of the political party system based on military intervention into our political system was responsible for our failure, to have political parties that you could say have their roots since the colonial period. That's one. Secondly, multi-party democracy provides that there should be freedom of association by citizens of any particular country. And that is what we have. In the United States of America, in United Kingdom, and several other Western liberal democracies that you see around, political parties, in reality, not also time and much more than what you have. And Nigeria today.
I'm afraid I will just have to allow you a few minutes so we can see if we can work on the network connections and return to you. But let's bring the conversation to the studio. And hi, Chief Ahmed, what do you think about that?
For me, I would like to talk about what the PDP chairman in Kaduna talked about political participation. And the issue why there have been so much drawback by the Nigerian citizens from not participating, and you see the decline in voter participation, like less than 10% of the vote elected the current president. So it's because elections are not free, elections are not as credible as they should be. If there's citizens, they call it a lack of trust in the process, it will affect the integrity of the whole process. If you create an inclusive process where people will be sure that their vote will count. If you create that process, you will see more participation, and that's why I talk about party processes in Nigeria. The people are not holding the party because they believe that those who have been elected since 1999 have acted with great level of impunity against the Nigerian masses. Why? Because if you go to other countries like South Africa that have multi-party democracy, in their last election on Saturday, a lot of parties have received more than MK parties, EFF, DA, all of them contested, have over 60 parties or so. So multi-party democracy is about inclusivity. It's not the issue. The issue is not how many parties we have. The issue is how free our elections are. Because if you talk about people whose right has been protected by this inclusive democratic process that is created by the multi-party democratic system that we have, is the ACN. It's the white people who have a senator in Anambra. Because people go to where, if you are popular, if your people love you, you go to certain political party where that has been driven by authority. They won't give you ticket.
But these parties, but these parties also do not have the required, 2/3 national spread, and they also, have the cost that they also bring to the electoral system. And
there's no cost. There's no cost. If you have 10 parties, you print the same number of registered, the same ballot. If you have 100 parties, you print the same. Your ballot is printed in according to the number of registered voters. It's not with number of political parties. That's what people don't know.
Do you know that during the last election, some of those parties could not even campaign?
As we're talking, we have 19 political parties, but 10 are still qualified to stay. So what you are doing, you don't force the process to shade itself off. You allow the organic process to go on, and that's why you had ACN when they were dissatisfied from the DA, from the AD and Co. They formed ACN, and they were able to come. NNPP was losing strength after they went into coalition with, what do you call it, government of national unity with the PDP, and they saw that the best option was to merge with CPC and ACN, and that if there was no multi-party democracy, you would have seen those forces come together. But what has affected our multi-party democracy is about lack of free elections, is about the discipline of those who have been elected into office, because they defect, and when they defect, they kill the party that have brought in them. I can mention over 10 parties that have died because those who were elected on their platform defected. These are things we must look at. To grow this political space, we must put up laws that will ensure that political party survive, and if you have canvassed on the basis of the policies of that party, you should remain there for the next 4 years, and then you can now go and test your strength on another platform, on another party. And political party today has been hijacked by the money bags, because there are no equal level of funding. Those who are in government at various states, no party is exempted in this one, that have been in government in various states, use government money to entrench their own political system. Because why? In every civilized system, where there's multi-party democracy, the people buy T-shirt from their party. They pay their membership dues. There's no party today that can tell me that have a very effective membership due process that every member pays. So that process is the reason why parties are not having the required independence like we had in the First and Second Republic, where the market woman would give money. But now you see they say, Diboko Sobe, come and take money and vote and then go and cook your soup. So these are a lot of issues in this country that
Diboko Sobe.
You go and vote, then come and take money. You understand? So we saw that in Ondo election at the time. So the very critical thing we must focus on is how to make our election transparent, is how to make it credible, it has to build up the confidence of the Nigerian citizens in participating in the electoral process, because it's at their own best interest. And when you talking about those who have voted in the National Assembly, if those who have voted in the National Assembly know that the truly electoral process is truly very strong to defend the vote of the people, sincerely, they won't take decision without consulting their constituents. Some of them believe in the supremacy or the authority of their party at the state and at the federal level to be able to go into election. But the fact remains, for us to make it work, the people must own the process. The people must populate the political parties. They must become members. They must take ownership of political parties, whether it's party DDD or party CCC. Even in America, you talk about there are not only 2 political parties. As I'm talking to you, Kennedy is contesting one of the parties. There is over 100 parties are registered in America, but it's that there's a threshold for you to get on the national ballot. For you to be in the you have to have over 5% also for you to be on the national ballot. So these are kind of in the ingenuity that every democratic system works for its people. Evolve. For all our own people, we have a problem. The problem is the impunity of those who have been elected since 1999. The reason for people want to control government after government. If you have elected as governor, as you leave, you want to bring another person by force, by fire, so that the person you can be under your caprice and wings. So we need to work a system that is not, you can't get egalitarianism.
Yes, but Architect Bulama, the parties themselves are not stable. There's no internal, decorum. There's no internal structure.
Yes.
you know, that will enable, you know, the kind of inclusivity and integrity that High Chief Ahmed is talking about?
Yes. You see, those of us in the APC are conscious of the fact that you see the democratic system is still nascent and is still growing, not just in terms of institutions and structures, but the entire culture of democracy in the country is very low and is still evolving. For instance, the issues mentioned by Honorable with regards to the citizens' responsibility and rights to hold leaders accountable. I mean, this too is coming, of course, from the background of the fact that this African culture is what one Swedish writer called power distant, you know, where people just respect people at the top, you know, that they don't know that their own vote brings people to power and gives legitimacy and authority to elected people. But in the APC, we know this responsibility to strengthen democracy. And we also know the need to strengthen our own party to make sure that we generate a very strong, sustainable institution with systems, processes, and procedures that are transparent, fair, and just. Even today, our party is embarking on electronic register of membership so as to have a clean, comprehensive membership register for planning purposes. You know, from 2015 till now, our party has maintained a culture of non-interference in the management, for instance, of governance and elections particularly, which in fact, you know, led to the strengthening, you know, and improvement in the quality of elections. You know, unlike the past where those in power, you know, give instruction to judiciary or, you know, give instruction to INEC to announce results and so on. That principle of non-interference has been the full mark of the leadership of the APC. We also contributed towards transparent elections by encouraging, you know, the amendment to the Electoral Act. And even today, there's a commitment to push for another, you know, amendment to the Electoral Act so as to address those gray areas or those, you know, gaps and lacunas that.
Does the APC today have an identifiable ideology?
We are committed to the welfare and good of the, you know, majority of Nigerians. You know, our motto, you see, we are committed to peace, you know, justice in the country. We're committed to promoting transparency and accountability. We are, you know, committed to promoting the basic principle of democracy that power belongs to the people, you know, and it is people's vote that should, you know, bring people to power. And people in power should work to satisfy the aspirations and wants of the people. To deepen that, our party actually at the moment has already is in the process of building what we call a progressive, you know, institute. We've got registration for that, and at the Progressive Institute, what we intend to do is to train people within our party and across the country on the culture of democracy, our elected leaders on their responsibility to promote the values and the efforts, you know, of
Architect Bulama, thank you. Yes, I wanted to weigh in on
He has been concentrating on APC. Yes. If you want to talk about the democratic development, it is in the APC government in 2019 that we did not have an electoral act a new electoral act to govern the election. What did they sign? And you talk about parties that are now still running their executive against the spirit and letters of the constitution that said there shall be democratically elected ESCOs for party from national to the world level, that there shall not be caretaker committee. The parties are running on caretaker committees. So the reason why internal parties are weakened is because of the interference of people in power. It is this insane APC we see people come into president and then dissolve the national ESCO because they don't want to form the villa.
Again, let's take the conversation away from individual parties.
I don't want to talk of parties. I'm a Labour man.
Yes.
I'm not talking of Labour parties. Making emphasis on parties, and I know the weakness within all the parties. As somebody who have heard in the Inter-Party Advisory Council, I know all the weakness, but we don't want to emphasize on political party. We are trying to look at the growth and development generally of how our party system has progressed.
All right. So anyway,
yes, you want to. Yeah.
Yes, I just want to chip in something, and that is the issue of the leadership. We have spoken so much here about the leadership and how the leadership influences, decisions and all of that. But it's also important that we should also look at, and we should not just be looking at just the party. It is the people. It is we Nigerians that make the parties. And when you look at the way some people have moved in parties all across, you discover that at the end of the day, it's not so much about the parties. At the end of the day, it's also about people. Okay, even if you say that leaders influence elections and influence results and all of that, if that happens in the first elections, why can't that be corrected by the people in the next election? So it is still a combination of the people themselves. So the people that either in the politics or out of politics.
Is it about the people or the money bags? Because
it's about both. It's a combination of
the influence of the money bags in politics.
Yes,
we have to talk to it.
Yes,
because it's important. You find out that these money bags are the ones that they have hijacked the whole system.
Yes.
And the issue of this...
It takes two to cut to tango.
You ask the question.
No, it takes two to cut to tango at the end of the day. The important thing we are talking about here, here is that if you know, for example, that you have somebody who has represented you for 4 years, and you know that he hasn't done anything, why, on that day that you are going to do the next election, why must you be influenced by the money that person is bringing?
But how can you ask that question on
no, yes.
There's poverty.
So yes.
And the politicians themselves.
Yes.
Sorry, Demola. Yes. Because once again, first, it is the same people who contested the previous election that you see in the next one.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Enabled, by the money bags that you've talked about, and because the people are vulnerable. They're in vulnerable situations. If you present a bag of rice today to any Nigerian, you think they will not take? When a bag of rice is how much?
Over 100.
Over 100,000 now. Anyway, let's put you on hold. You want to bring in the PDP chairman? Yes, Honorable Felix Hassan. Honorable Felix Hassan, we've talked about parties' internal structure and democracy. We've also talked about multi-party system, but please just hold on.
Yes,
please just hold on. We'll need to pay some bills. When we come back, we'll come over to you.
From the Atlantic across the savannah to the Sahara, we rise, a land of the free, we know they tire. We dream great, our spirit is undying.
Resilient, rooted like palm tree, we swear in colors, we turn dark into light, we make solutions, we ignite passion, yeah. Diversity is unique, we have more than this.
We are Nigeria, strengthened in unity. We know they carry light. We are Nigeria, together live the dream of a land with great destiny. We are Nigeria.
I am the Real Nigerian. Brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
Meet lovebirds Jayola and Adama Davies. Their dream of living together as man and wife has finally been fulfilled.
The latest couple in town, Mr. and Mrs. Jaye Davies!
But an invasion by their troublesome families was not a scenario they bargained for. Her mother moves in. His mother shows up with his little niece. Then her younger sister joins the scramble.
You want to stay?
Married life suddenly becomes very complicated even before it started. Follow their story on this channel as they confront every challenge as it comes. family forever. The story of our lives.
Nigeria means unity.
Nigeria means freedom to me.
Nigeria means greatness to me.
Nigeria is indivisible. There is nothing you can do. We all have to savage it together and learn to love each other. We are indivisible.
As a mother and a leader, I will always preach for peace and unity in this country, because that is the only thing that will give us progress.
Though tribes and tongues may differ, in brotherhood we stand. And it is the woman that does that.
All right, welcome back. You're watching Good Morning Nigeria, and we're looking at the evolution of our political parties in the past 25 years of our democracy. Transition, or unbroken democracy, I should say. And before we went on break, we have actually taken the conversation to Kaduna for Honorable Felix Hassan Hayat to weigh in on that discussion. Honorable Felix Hayat, we talked about political internal structure. We also talked about multiplicity of parties as part of the evolution process in the past 25 years. Can you speak to these issues?
Speak to those issues. Let me say that definitely it seems to me as an individual listening to our respected Waziri Bulama as if he came to defend or to sell APC instead of looking at the issues that confront Nigerians as far as democratic evolution is concerned. That said, I would say that certainly the party structures and the internal structures of the party cannot be the same, because we are talking of associations that we have formed and metamorphosed by law to political parties. And every party had its own set of rules and guidelines as to how to go about its activities, but at the end of the day, to achieve the main objective of democracy, good governance, and development for the country. I would say in that there's no political party in Nigeria that had not had a minus at one time or one point or the other as far as these things are concerned. But the only thing that can move this is the real participation of members of the party and support by the public. What do I mean by that? A situation whereby we know that an aspirant did not make it to become a candidate. The people should really stand up to say no to it. And the laws of the land should also, since they have the constitution of the political parties and the guidelines that are all enshrined in the constitution of the party and the electoral act, the laws of the land should at all times look at things diligently and see how we are going to save this country and make the democracy to be flourishing. I agree that with the honorable member, we have a situation whereby there is increased participation of democracy, but at the grassroots level, at the election level, at the party registration level. But when it comes to issues of participation in governance, it is going down. And this is one of the reasons why the youth are crying out, and crying out for a good cause, that they should be allowed to come in and they should be allowed to take over. And their cry must be respected. But they don't cry by sitting down. They have to come out and ensure that where they are standing infringes on the laws of their own political party, they should stand up and say no to it. And the leadership of political parties must respect the constitution that is set for their party. Anything short of that, we cannot run away from the issues of the money bags that we are talking about. Before, when I was joining politics, I thought the issue of money bags was the issue of businessmen
who come to invest in the party, to support the party to win election. But today, I will tell you that the money bags are those that are in governance, having based on their party being a ruling party. These are the money bags that we have today. They are both politicians and money bags that dictate and control and make things move only the way that they should move. And that is why we must all stand up to make sure that participatory democracy includes participatory governance. Where a member or a governor is going out of the way, the party itself should be courageous enough to call him to order. But we'll see a situation whereby whatever a governor does today, or whatever the president does today, or the role of the political party is to defend the governor, even when he's wrong. We know very well, I'm sorry to say it if somebody does not agree with me, but we know very well that the issue of removal of subsidy was one of the worst things has ever happened, without consultations and without putting anything on ground, just an announcement that we have removed subsidy. When people started crying, you say you are going to bring this, you are going to bring this, and we have celebrated 1 year without this palliative that we are sold to the public that will reduce their pains. Nothing has taken up, and there's nothing Nigerians are enjoying. All the Nigerians are looking on to now.
You talked about subsidy removal, and
it's
not part of a discussion, but it came in the course of your conversation. But again, you know, I asked earlier on if parties had ideologies, and Architect Bulama came out to tell us, okay, you know, some of the things that his party, you know, projected. And if you recall also, subsidy removal, you know, was one of the cardinal things that the present, president,
all the parties,
yes, all the parties, you understand, spoke about subsidy removal. I don't think there's any party that didn't talk about, you know, removing subsidy. Yes.
Okay. So let's bring in Professor Mato now. I want to believe that the network is okay now. Professor Mato, are you with us?
I hope you can hear me too.
Yes, we can hear you clearly now. Now, we're looking at the political parties now. This issue of internal crisis. Let's go to the issue of internal crisis and factions, which has become the norm, you know, in political parties, especially the issue of the parties not being able to call their members to order. This issue of godfatherism and indiscipline and so many other things. You remember that, if you recall, in the Second Republic, I mean, the political parties are so supreme that the politicians, they would respect the party leaders. But in this instance, it's the other way around. So how can we address this challenge?
Thank you very much. Somebody there in the studios mentioned very clearly that one of the major problems that our political parties are facing is the seeming domination by those who are elected under the banner of these political parties. When you become a governor or when you are the president, you are automatically the leader of that political party. That's not a constitutional definition. That's a political ascription that Nigerians chose to give during this republic. As you rightly said, during the Second Republic and even the First Republic, there was strong party discipline to the extent that political party leadership dictated the pattern of administration of government, because whoever is a beneficiary of any election actually was a member of a political party and therefore was bound by principle, logic in the constitution of that particular political party. So Second Republic and even in the First Republic, and it happens in virtually every democracy. It doesn't happen in our democracy today because of excessive discipline that the political parties and the party system is made of. We need to really sit back and redesign. Now, look at the way somebody mentioned the manner in which most of the parties, the supervised elected people, Everybody wants to put an acting chairman, acting secretary, so that the dictatorship of the ruling class continues. And unless we are able to look, democracy is not an end in itself. Democracy is a means to an end. It is a process. And as long as we are not ready to subscribe to this process, then we are bound to face the crisis that we are facing. Now, look at what happened in the PDP, where the national chairman was, through the instrumentality of the court. Look at what's happening in the APC, where the national chairman is also, the legitimacy is also being some elect, leaders at the various levels of party formation. It will be difficult for us to have a very strong and viable political party system in Nigeria today. That's basically the major issue, and the strength of the party is determined by the character, the caliber, and the manner in which that political party, is being piloted by elected representatives of the people. That is absent in us. Felix Hassan, I know, has been elected several times, for instance, as the chairman of the PDP in Kaduna State. I don't know what's happening now, but going around all the states in the federation and the center and the 2 or 3 major political parties. Now look at the crisis even in the Labour Party. It's just, it's not apparently abating. But all this have to do with the disciplined nature of the Nigerian political of this extraction. We really have to sit down and call a spade a spade. If we don't do that, then likely the system is going to continue to exist.
Okay, it's like the network actually is really a challenge this morning from his end. So let's come back to the studio now and bring in Actor Bulama.
Yes. Once again, the thing is, we have to look at context. In carrying out this conversation, there is an understanding that we all accept the multi-party presidential system of government. But generally, democracy does not come as something bespoke, something that is perfect, that works like a mechanical system. Democracy is always as in in a country like that had been under military rule and had practiced parliamentary system and other systems. This system is new, is growing. So so we have to do a lot to make sure that the system is nurtured and allowed to grow. Why I emphasized those points that were quoted, were seen as partisan, maybe favoring my party, was because actually our party's approach, towards nurturing democracy is peculiar and unique. We came, into being in after like halfway of these 25 years in 2013 because of certain factors, 2015, 2013, and eventually we came to power 2015. And we've carried out the constitutional duty of people, of politicians and those people in power, in deepening democracy and ensuring that the institutions of state are strengthened and are autonomous and they work. We've hastened that process. That's what I was trying to say. As earlier said, we believe that those problems that we are talking about, the attitude of the voters, of the general public, of the citizens, not being responsible enough, not holding people to account, and so it is the duty of the political parties to educate, to enlighten, to engage the public, to ensure that they rise up to their responsibilities. But this is not happening. But on a final note, one major thing that my party as well as all the other political parties have to mind is that the public actually has accepted democracy, as also shown by the numbers that come out to vote. And with the improvement in the election management system in the country, most political parties you know, will not have the power. I mean, you don't see a lot of the disappointment because, as you can see, in the last election, the entry of the Labour Party and scoring like 6 million votes, you know, was largely because of the improvement in the quality of elections. And going further, you see all these parties, if they don't improve their internal processes and systems for producing internal, well, for making internal democracy stronger, removing crises and anti-party activities and so on and so on, they are going to suffer at the general elections. So this is a very big, this will bring a big improvement to the quality of practice of our democracy and the culture of you know, accountability and transparency, making, you know, the government work for the people and so on, would all be enhanced by this system.
Thank you very much, Architect Bulama.
I wanted to bring in High Chief Ame into a conversation because, again, he talked about the need to address the issues that affect the internal party structure. And one of those, I mean, demonic issues, you know, is this, you know, tussle for leadership of the party. And this is basically at the subnational level where you find everyone clamoring to be, you know, the leader of the party. And someone titled it rightly, dynastic succession and all that. How can that be addressed? Who is actually the leader of the party at the subnational?
I think for political parties, the truth is that it is the, you know, you have what they call ward executive, state executive. In some party they have zonal executive, you know, like the PDP. Then you have and the Labour Party. Then you have the National Working Committee, and then there are other organs that make decisions for political party. The highest decision-making body of a political party is the National Convention, and the National Convention you have National Executive Committee. These are very powerful organs because the National Convention can review the Constitution, suspend the Constitution, and do whatever it wants with the Constitution, and also elect the national officers that will superintend over the affairs of the party for for 4 years. So the problem we are now facing is that when people are elected into office, they now assume that they are leaders of these parties. The people who are supposed to lead this party are the state executives, the ward executive, and the National Executive Committee of the party. If you look at even the Second Republic and First Republic, when you come to a meeting, a party meeting, which is not an executive meeting of the government, all the National Working Committee members sit on the high table. Even the president will sit on at the floor where the members are seated. Because it is about party meeting, and the party's leaders are the leaders of the party. But now if you come to a National Executive meeting of political party, the president will sit in the center while the chairman and secretary will flank the president. Well, if you go to the state governor, they are doing the same thing. So there's trust for the citizens. One thing we should tell them, yes, they are really broken to an extent with bad leadership, poor governance system, and lack of trust. There's a huge trust deficit between those who are governing us and those who are being governed. And that, because of that, we talked about the 2023 election. There was a lot of interest globally for the election and a lot of this, but that legitimacy with that election was truncated with the inability of the beavers to upload the presidential results. So we don't. If we talk about if we want to talk, we talk about what is on the street because we're talking for our people. But the essence for us to have a democratic process that will have respect for party leadership, and the party leadership should take into consideration that they are not authority to the end, because the party constitution is actually the supreme law. Is the supreme. It's not the party leader that is supreme. It's not the party chairman that is supreme. It's not the executive of the party that is supreme. It's the constitution of the party that is supreme. And the constitution of Nigeria is supreme on down, and any other laws are supreme to the electorate are supreme to those laws. So because what we have in this country is as a result that why multi-party democracy has failed and leadership is breaking down to a way that they do not have so much authority is because when we go for elections, those in government come with money. The parties, on the other hand, that are not in government don't have money to spend. So this affects our democratic development and projection. So we must have the people to know that what is on the ballot is pipe-borne water. What is on the we don't talk pipe-borne water, we talk borehole in Nigeria now. Because I grew up in Lagos, when we talk about pipe-borne water, it's good road, electricity, and productivity. That is what is on the ballot. The citizen must take cognizance of that and look at the best capable, competent hands that will man our country and vote for them.
Thank you very much.
Okay. I wanted to... Okay, go ahead.
Okay, let's just bring in the Honorable Boyega Isiaka now. Let's move forward now with this conversation. How do we begin to make the political parties work together? You talked about the issue of inclusivity. Now, how do we begin to have a robust democracy? You know, having the parties work together to promote robust and inclusivity in our democracy.
Well, I will take it off from what my colleague said. I think one thing is also about the people. You know, the people must also, you know, get much more involved than ever before, so that even when we begin to see recalcitrant leadership, you know, they can beat them, they can beat them to line, because that is the final authority in all of these things, as you know, as it were. You know, I think we need much more involvement there. Of course, the sincerity of the leadership is also important. And in all of this, the constitution of the party, the constitution of the country, everything is being interpreted by an arm of government, that is the judiciary. We also continue to pray and wish for an independent and strong judiciary, so that even when anybody is misbehaving and just wake up at the wrong side of the bed and wanted to, you know, start claiming what doesn't belong, the judiciary can quickly bring him to book, without being influenced by anybody, without being influenced by anything, and so that the other person that wants to do it next time will know that this is also be possible, because the judiciary will come in and stop it. I think so. Those are some of them. We need a lot more participation. You know, the prof said, said it. This is meant to be participatory democracy. We need more participation, particularly from those that are learned. You know, we know the level of our literacy in their country. You know, also varies from one region to the other. You know, I will know that those that are not that, you know, that learned, they can easily be swayed, by little things. But at least those that are in learned, you should also know that they need to participate in this. We're just mentioning those states, how people are calling from outside and all of that. We need a lot more people to come into that, so that this thing can keep improving. Yeah, we've seen quite a number of improvements, but I think we can still go faster than this if we have some of these things in place.
All right, thank you. Let's bring in very briefly Honorable Felix Hassan Hayat again, since we're trying to prefer solution to what can be done. And then a question here, I'd like to read it out. 2015 general elections provided an example of how political parties can act as a positive, constructive force in Nigeria's democracy, with campaigns based on issues. And that was also, in part, enabled by the 2022 Electoral Act. You know, a lot of people hailed that act. It came up with very innovative, measures and all that. How can we improve on 2015, election, what happened in 2015, and also ensure that the Electoral Act works for Nigerians?
To me, I look at it that we must encourage members of every political party. And I know that in every political party, everybody said it has to be a financial member. Now, if people agree and subscribe to being in an association and at a political party, they know that there are dues that they are supposed to pay. And if they don't pay the dues, they do not have the strength to call to order those who they have elected. So we must encourage people to come out, not only to be registered members, but to also be financial members to checkmate the activities of the money bags that we have been crying about. Two, yes, it is a process, and in every process, there's room for improvement. We have seen a lot of things, and we believe that, like my political party, there's no way people will be happy when you have a whole presidential candidate that is going to be nominated by only 774 delegates. People are interested in participation, and the electoral law should be amended and the party is already working on this thing, and we have made submissions. We want people to participate effectively. If I am a financial member, then whatever happens in the party, I'm supposed to have a right to participate or to make my views known. But in a situation whereby I don't know how the activities are going on, and when you ask somebody, he will tell you that, where is your membership card? Are you a financial member? So there must be real enlightenment of the followership of every political party for them to know that they really own the party, not the officials.
Well, thank you very much, Honorable Felix Hayat, there for your thought. I think we have to round up now because time is we're done with our time, and just want to thank. I would have loved to ask the question, but we don't have the time any longer. So maybe we just have. Can you just? I don't have the.
Okay.
Okay. I think I have it now. So let me just express appreciation to our Honorable Boyega Isiaka, is the
Member House of Reps.
Member House of Reps, Yewa North and Imeko Afon Federal Constituency. Thank you for coming on the conversation this morning. Also, we have Architect Waziri Bulama, former National Secretary APC. Thanks for joining us today as well. Also, High Chief Peter Amer, thank you so much for your contribution.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And from our Kaduna studio, we want to thank Honorable Felix Hayat, PDP chairperson, PDP chairman there. Thank you so much for joining us in the conversation. All right, thank you. And Professor Mato, he is gone, but he was also part of today's conversation. Well, that's our conversation this morning. Thanks for joining us. I am Ademola Adeoye. Do have a lovely day.
And I'm Claire Adelabu Abdulrazak. Bye-bye for now.